a social brand manager for major corporations. He will speak to upwards of 30,000 students this year, trying to help them with their social media and things. And I think you're going to be very entertained and pleased with his discussion that he has. So without further ado, we have Josh take it over. Thank you.
Good afternoon. How are we doing today? I'm going to try that one more time. Good afternoon. Well, it's great to see all of you here today. My name is Josh Oakes. Now here's what we're going to do. We're limited on time. Normally these are about a 90-minute presentation where we give parents my one goal in the next hour, because I have about actually 55 minutes, is to, here's my goal. My goal is that if you've come here today a little bit confused about some of the apps and an approach that your kids can use to do what we see behind me, how to impress colleges and future employers using social media, I hope that if you have come confused, that you leave a little bit more comfortable. That's my one goal. That's what moms and some dads, but mostly moms come up to me and say is, I was really confused and I left comfortable. So I'm going to give you a couple tactical tips. I will not use big buzzwords. I don't believe in them. I will not tell you that social media is bad. In fact, I'm going to show you how very good social media can be, and I'm going to try and break it down. I'm very fortunate to advise a bunch of big brands that you'll see, and I turned on a kids program, and we use this kids program to show big brands how to market themselves, and the kids program has turned into something that I love to do. So I travel the country on the side, and I love doing this. So I'm going to give you 100% of me for the next 60 minutes. If we have 5 minutes left, can you let me know? You mind? Okay, great. We're recording this for those that could not be here today, so any of your friends that would like to watch it later. Now let me do this. Normally I speak at night to parents groups. This is rare, and I love that your school is doing this. This Bigfoot concept is wonderful. Normally we're going to show you the hottest apps, good and bad tweets, how colleges search for your kids, some Snapchat safety tips that you can use, a formula to shine online for volunteer work. This is where I hit my stride. I'm going to teach you exactly how your kids should put a good image forward. How to improve your online resume, which we're going to talk about. What is the new resume? And I'll show you exactly. It turns out I am an employer. I have staff. And also I have very close ties with some of the world's best colleges. So I talk to deans and instructors all the time and their admissions departments, so I can give you a little bit of insight as to what they're looking for. That's really my goal today, is to help your kid eventually someday get inspired to want to impress people down the road. And then last, one of the most important things is, we'll look at it in a sec, one of the topics that I want you to get from this is how do I have a dialogue with my kid so that we can see a lot of this stuff coming. Here's the biggest thing a lot of people wonder is they have a bunch of concerns, and one of those concerns is, how am I going to integrate with my kids? Can you give me some techniques? And that's where I get into concerns that parents have. I'd like to open it up for 3 concerns from you to understand your biggest concerns. I'm going to tell you nationwide what some of the parents' concerns are, and then we're going to look at some of the apps. Any concerns you came with today saying, you know, this is one of the biggest problems that I'm seeing or with my kid? Anything? Yes?
When they're playing their games online, they're playing with strangers. Some of their friends and some strangers.
Okay, so when they're playing their games online, sometimes it's with strangers, and sometimes it's with friends. So who are they interacting with? Okay, great. Yes, and next? Yes. Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think that the way kids are trying to grow up and block you at the same time, I want to give them some room and some privacy to be responsible.
Yeah.
But still want to monitor.
Okay, great. So I'm going to show you a little technique on that. How do I monitor without being too close? Okay, great. Yes, and one more.
And so on Facebook, it seems like sometimes other people can put things up about yourself or your child without them knowing, pictures and things like that.
Great. So my goal at the end of this, you're probably going to have a few more concerns. I'm going to show you parental concerns that would be very natural for you to have, other parents nationwide, in addition to these concerns, which are very good. If you have concerns, that means you're a great parent. That means you're concerned, and that means you want the best for your kids. What I'm about to show you in the next 35 minutes is going to be an all-inclusive kids presentation. I'm going to skip the parent presentation for a short while, and here's why. We're limited on time. And then I'm going to come back to the parent presentation, give you as much of it as I can. Normally I don't have students in here. It's fine today, but those of you that are watching, I'm going to share with you some very bad apps that are not good for your kids, which I never do share with kids. It's Pandora's box that we normally don't open up. But I want you to be comfortable with the good apps, the gray apps, and the bad apps, which we call the red zone. So let me go ahead and get started, if you don't mind, with some concerns, then give you the presentation we gave your kids, and then we'll talk as parents here in the next few minutes. Is that fair? Great. Okay, so first of all, Josh, does UCLA, or insert your favorite school, really have time to Google all 100,000 applicants? And yes, they had 100,000 applicants in 2013. The answer is yes. The top 10,000 to 15,000, they all get great grades, and they're all competing to get into UCLA. They either want a scholarship, or they want some kind of either a half ride or something of some sort. And they're going to have time to Google because, all things being equal, 4.0, great kids, outstanding, where do they go to try and decide? They go to Google. So yeah, they're going to take 3 seconds to look at every applicant, because no longer, gone are the days when it took $49 to $200 to do a background check and 2 weeks to wait for the results. No, in fact, we're all backgrounders now. We can all check everything. So yes, they have time to Google your kids. Next, should my kid be public or private on social media? The answer is, at the age of 14 to 15, you need to have a very serious discussion with your child about when they're ready to be public. Josh, but you've been telling me, or people have been telling me for the last 5 years, be private, keep your kid private. Yes, but because I just showed you that UCLA and every other great school has time, and they must do the due diligence to protect themselves from bad kids, they are going to search for your kid. If they don't find your child and you decide, oh, nope, you're 18, you're not having a social media profile, do you think they'll find somebody else, perhaps less well put together than your kid? Do you think that they'll get confused or frustrated that they can't find your kid, and then therefore they will say, well, this is the next best thing, I'll just decide that this kid that has very inappropriate photos is that person's child? Probably not your best foot forward. So yes, eventually, public is the answer. It really truly is in the most wholesome way possible. You'll see my way of thinking, it's very old school. But eventually, when you're ready for it and your kids are ready, talking to them about how to put their best foot forward in a public way, I will show you exactly the apps that are the safest, that have the lowest cyberbullying and everything else. So don't worry on that front. Next, is Snapchat safe? The short answer is no. Josh, but they said that everything disappears, and they promise our kids that everything disappears. The short answer is no. Snapchat is just like scissors. We teach our kids at a very young age, what are they not supposed to do with the scissors? They're not supposed to run with them, right? But scissors can be very good with arts and crafts. But when you give them to a kid, you teach them how to use them. Arts and crafts is the goal, right? But scissors can hurt you. Snapchat's the same thing. You need to be very careful. How you use it can be very, very bad, and it can get kids in trouble. We'll talk about a very personal story on that in a sec. How can I keep up with social media, Josh? There's a new app out each week. I'm overwhelmed. How will I ever become an expert, Josh? Biggest concern nationwide with parents. Very, very valid. What I'm going to do, and what I've provided via video for you to watch after this presentation, is try and bucket the apps so that you feel comfortable with the apps that have low cyberbullying and good real tracking back to a real person's identity. I'm going to show you the gray zone, which are the area where you must have a dialogue with your kids. Snapchat fits in there. It can be good, but it can be very, very bad, right? Depending on how wise or unwise your child is. And then also the red zone. And the red zone is the area where I professionally recommend that you never let your child hang out. Nothing ever good happens. And I'll show you exactly what those look like. Okay, and then last, very important, and this is the key. Today, I am just a speaker up here, but if you choose to not put in any effort after this, then this is all lost, unfortunately. But if you choose to try a couple of these techniques, the best way to put them into effect is, how do I have a dialogue with my kids? I want to give you a couple of those techniques today. Is that fair? Okay, these are the biggest concerns nationwide that parents have. And what I'd like to do is skim through. Normally, normally I go through this presentation. Here's the red zone. I'll walk through all this at the very end. Is that fair? You want to pull your phone out and take a picture here real quick? This is all in a video. So this picture is not enough alone to explain this. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next one. All right, so what I normally do is walk you through our website really quickly. Our website, SafeSmartSocial.com, has a big button, learn more about the good and bad teen apps. When you click on that, it shows you the green zone, which we'll talk about at the end of this presentation. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter, I'll tell you exactly why. Some parents will be like, no, 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 you don't understand, my kid's not ready for that. Yes, when you're ready, age requirement, this is the discussion we have to have. When you're ready through the age, I'll show you how to go from 0 to 60 to shine online. My one job today, you are here to help your kids be incredible people, get great grades. The teachers here are dedicated to your children. They brought me from Los Angeles. And my one job, if you work hard on making your kids well-rounded, I will help them shine online. That's the only thing. These are the best apps that Google likes that also seem to work really well with low cyberbullying and help your kids shine online, come up on their first. There's a million reasons why these are the place where you can start when you're ready to start. These are the gray zone. I would dive into each one of them, but I've created a great video for you as to why are they the gray zone, what they do that's wrong, good and bad, okay? And then these are the red zone. This is red zone version 1, there's red zone version 2 here in a sec. It's too long to have long, but these are the ones that are anonymous. And the anonymous red zone ones, here's number 2. The anonymous red zone ones these apps allow kids to behave in a way that we've never seen possible. They feel as though they can get away with just about anything. Okay, each one of these images is a 5-minute video on our website that's 100% free for you to go watch. You can become an expert. Remember that second to last concern? Josh, how will I ever become an expert and catch up? If you see one of these apps in the red zone on your kid's phone, and if you notice it, or I want you to at least do some research so that you know what they look like, so when you do get that one moment to look at your kid's phone, you can see that. If you see one of those apps, you can go become an expert in 5 minutes and 30 seconds. That's because we build a beautiful blog post and a video that's easy for parents to understand. I have a whole staff member at our office that her one job is to download the apps, become good at them, and when a principal or educator says we're having a problem with these, we make a video so that teachers know. Okay, now if you want all these delivered to your inbox, this is a website you can go to. It's free. You put your first name, your email, and your zip. It emails you every week with a good app and a bad app. And you click on it, you go over to our website, watch the thing. That's free to you today. You'll see that at the end throughout the presentation. Okay, Josh, so what did you talk today to my kids about? Well, I'm going to show you the positive side of social. Whereas normally I would start off with 30 minutes of safety and then show you what I showed your kids, which is the positive side. We're going to dive right out into that. And you can go back and watch the video about all of those apps. I really encourage you to become comfortable with that video. It's about a little bit over 30 minutes. It's on our website and your educators have it, but it brings you up to speed, okay? Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about the positive way to use social media. 5 years ago, I ran for politics in Los Angeles, a suburb of Los Angeles called Hermosa Beach, California. I was the youngest person on the ballot. I had very little money, and I was half the age of most of my competitors, the people that were running against me. And here's a picture of me running, voting for myself on the day of the election in the voting booth. I was pretty nervous, but I learned quickly that even though I was half the age of some of the people, that I had one thing that none of them had. I had a really clean online image, and I had a clear understanding of how very important it was to shine online. You see, when people would see my name at the beach, because it was a beachside community, when they'd see my name in all the scrappy places we put it, all my friends put it on their bikes, and some people would knock on their door and they'd say, yes, we like you, you seem the most well put together, we trust you the most, put our sign out there. What is the next place that they'd go to research me? They'd go to Google, and they'd go search online to see what others had said about me. And I got very, very good at getting positive testimonials to get people to win over to do the most important thing they can do is vote for me, right, in that realm. So there's a lot of hard work I did, but if I didn't have a clean online reputation, it would actually work against me. Just like your kids, they can get great grades and shine in person, but if they don't have a clean online reputation, it's going to work against them. So I figured out how to get so good at my online reputation that I lost by 350 votes in this election against the incumbent mayor, who's now a very good friend of mine. But now I get to show you exactly how we did that. Now these techniques work so well that I wrote a book called Light, Bright, and Polite. And I traveled the country for a few years teaching some of the world's biggest brands that took us under their wing, saying we want to learn how to shine online to impress customers. One of our bigger brands, Universal, said, will you please modify this and we can use this as a test project for kids? And what you're going to see today are some branding techniques, positive stuff for kids, so they can impress colleges. And that's the new one. Now these techniques will work on just about any company you want to work at, any college, any company. They're wholesome, they're old school, and they use new tools in a way that impresses them. I used to work here, but we have worked for any one of these companies in a professional capacity. I asked your kids earlier today, raise your hand if you have an iPhone. 95% of them raised their hands. You were very active, I like that. Next, raise your kid. We asked the kids, how many of you have the Vine app? Do we have, oh, your colleague isn't in here. She wrote that down. I'd say about 30 to 40% of them have the Vine app. How many of them have Instagram? More than half, probably 60, 70%. Next, how many have Kik or WhatsApp? And I want you truly to watch the video that we had, because we had to skip through the definition of what these are. This one's pretty scary. This one's pretty scary also, but this one's more scary. 30% of your kids have that one. You're going to need to go watch it. I loved it. Both of these are grouped together because they bypass text messaging and they allow just about anyone to contact your kids. Gone to great lengths to describe them on our website, to provide that video for it, but because we're limited on time, I want to give you the kids' presentation. So you should probably go and watch one of those. Next, how many of your kids have Snapchat? A majority of the kids raise their hand, probably 70% of them. And next, Twitter, a lot less, probably 15 to 30% of them. And then last, Yik Yak and Whisper. These are some of the cyberbullying apps in the red zone. And the red zone is a scary place to be. Oh, probably only 20 people raise their hand there. They probably thought it was playful and stuff, and they probably don't use them as much. This school seems like it's really got its stuff together. I like it. Okay, so how many of us have Instagram, parents? Okay, a little over half, great. How many of us have Snapchat? Okay, 1, cool. How many of us have Twitter? All right, 3, 4, 5, great. And how many of us have used the Vine app? All right, just a couple of us, great. And, okay, great. Let's move on here real quick. I want to play a little game that I play with your kids. This is a good way for you to talk with them about it. I want to make sure you see what they saw so that you can look and inspire them in the future. If you tell your kids what not to do, what are they going to want to do? Or if you tell them not to touch a stove, what are they going to want to do? They're going to want to touch that stove. So instead, I used to test these techniques by telling kids, look, we won't hire you, this is bad. And they would roll their eyes. You know this better than anybody, and I had to learn it on stage, embarrassed. So what I do instead is I give them good examples that are relevant and fun. So what I'm about to do is never tell them what to do. Instead, I show them exactly how to get fired, how to upset people. So what I'm about to do is play a little game called Miley Cyrus versus Hannah Montana. Now, I don't have to tell you, because you're all hip, cool parents, these are really the same person. This is the on-camera wholesome version, right? This is Hannah Montana, and Hannah Montana, very wholesome, on camera. And Miley Cyrus is the real life, now the more modern version of her. Same person, but she is perhaps less than wholesome, right? And we're gonna watch both of them on Twitter. Now, is social media bad, Josh? Or should they even be on social media? Yes, social media is good, actually. It's very good, it's not bad. But at the right age is only the time, and the right age is what you parents decide. You see, you decide when, and I'll show you how, okay? I use this as an example because what you're about to see is giving you know how your kids don't like to eat their green beans and the nutritious stuff. Like, I don't really want that, I'd rather have pizza tonight for dinner. Well, we've tried to figure out a way to put nutrition inside of pizza. And what you're about to see is, it looks like pizza, but it's really very nutritious, because what we're gonna do is see how these two would be on social media, which can be very good on Twitter, because you're building a positive brand online image. But we're also gonna look at what would a college say about each one of these tweets. Because remember, someone's always watching. And colleges are probably the most important people in the next 5 to 7 years that we need to impress, right? Okay, next. I'm about to show you exactly the tweet that you could send, or Miley Cyrus would send, to upset her teacher. Exactly how she would upset her coach, how she would be dramatic in a breakup, how she would upset the cheer team. And if you've ever wanted to know exactly the tweet to get fired, I'm going to show you that tweet, the one tweet you can send. Okay, so first, Josh, how might I upset my teacher? I want to teach my kids how to do this. Well, let's look at Miley Cyrus. Miley would say, this class is so lame, I'd rather be home sleeping. Right, something that probably a lot of your kids are thinking from time to time. Next, how would Hannah Montana say it? She would say, I am ready for the weekend. Right? One being, all right, I gotta get out of here, this is lame. One being a little bit more positive. Once again, is social media bad? No, but how we use it can be very bad, right? So one's clean. Which one's a college one? I want to see if both of these people do pretty well on their application. And look at probably the one a little bit more on the right. Like, yeah, I'm ready for the weekend. Next, how can I upset my coach, Josh? Well, here's a great way to do it. Miley Cyrus would say, the other football team sucks. I hope they lose, right? Next, Hannah would say, we're up by 24 points, go team. Both being equal on GPA and both working hard and getting their volunteer work in. When you go to Google and you find them, you will find their Twitter handles eventually. Which one is a college one to want to give their sports opportunity to? No matter what the sports or activity scholarship, even if it's not a scholarship, if you want to pay full ride, it's still hard to get into some schools. You decide. Is it the one that says we're up by 24 points or the one with bad sportsmanship qualities? Okay. Josh, how might I be dramatic after I break up with somebody? I'm so glad you asked. This is what Miley Cyrus would do to show us exactly how to do that. She would say on Twitter, hey Steve, I'm glad we broke up. You're a jerk and you made me cry. Right? Telling everybody everything about that. Hannah Montana might say, I'm so lucky that I have great friends to support me on the positive side. Now, is social media bad? No. But maybe this one could be a text message of some sort or more private or tell your BFF. And this one could be more appropriate for Twitter, right? Next, how might I upset the cheer team? Well, Miley Cyrus would say, our cheer team needs help. Sally keeps falling. Poor Sally. Whereas Hannah Montana would say, I think next year I'm going to try out for the cheer team. Happy face. So one is a part of the problem, sad face. One's a part of the solution, smiley face. Now, colleges have a lot going on, and they don't have time to hang out with your kids and tell them how to behave and what to do. This is an amazing organization where we're sitting right now. I've seen a lot of really cool stuff, and I get to speak to 20 to 30,000 kids a year, so I say that and I genuinely believe it. This is a really neat one, but colleges want people that lead themselves, that are going to go out and be wise about their brand. So you get to decide, or your kids actually get to decide which side of the coin are they going to be on, making fun of something or going out and saying, I want to lead and I want to be a part of that program. Next, I want to talk to you about a really neat company called Cisco. Now, I've never worked with Cisco, we've never gotten paid by them, but I want to tell you about the company and then I want to teach you how to get fired from them and show you a real story. You see, your kids don't want to hear about safety. It's the last thing they want to hear about. But they do want to hear about real stories from real people, and the thing that gets your kids most excited is their future job and their future college, because those are they want to be treated more like an adult. So I told them today, I said, you're all adults in my eyes. You can use that device in your pocket however you wish, but I'm going to give you some tactical tips that might work, or you could throw them out the window. So this company called Cisco, I asked your kids, I said, how many of you have a best friend in this room or a best friend at the school? Every kid raises their hand. And I asked them, I said, do you know what makes a best friend? It's usually close proximity. You bounce into somebody 5 times a week at school, you find out who you get along with out of this whole room, and you say, you know, that person I like spending time with doing my homework and after school, and they end up becoming your best friend because you bump into them so much that you have a lot of opportunity in this room to meet your best friend. But it doesn't stop here. What if I told you if you work at a great company, you have 72,000 chances to bump into a best friend and be very social? It's not boring. And if you like traveling, you can do work that you might like for this company in one of 65 plus countries if you choose to go to another country and do your work. And if you like having the latest iPhone, there's enough revenue in the salary that they may give you so you'll never have to ask your parents for permission for the latest iPhone. All right? And the kicker is that they make really neat technology that goes in TVs and hotspots that are in schools nationwide. The stuff that they build is really cool and high tech. So it's a pretty neat company to work for, I would say. Now what I want to show you is exactly how to get fired from them. You see, this young woman, she applied for this position at this firm, and she was fresh out of college. She went to a good school, she got good grades. She applied and she ended up getting a call from them, and they said, hey, we really like your application. Will you please come in for an in-person interview, first round? She went in and she did very well in person. She was great. Well-rounded in person, that's great. That's your job, it's amazing. And she did very well at that. Now she got a call a week later and they said, we like you, we like your application, we like who you were in the interview. We would like to offer you a home here at Cisco, meaning come join our family, our company, be a part of us. What do you say? And she said, that would be great, I would love to join. Awesome. She hangs up the phone. What do you think she does next? She goes to Twitter. Yeah, here's the exact tweet that she sent. Cisco just offered me a job. Now I have to weigh the fat paycheck against the daily commute and hating the work. Now, do you guys think that Cisco saw this tweet? Yeah. Do you think Cisco listens to their name with the @ and without the @? Yeah, they do. And they do that because they make technology products that need to work. Otherwise, we as consumers get really frustrated. If your TV doesn't work, your Wi-Fi system doesn't work, your hotspot, we get frustrated, right? Our whole family gets frustrated, and they're a B2B and a B2C company. So it behooves them to listen to what happens on social media so they can send you to an 800 number for somebody that can fix it, okay? Next, and we all know that as adults, it makes sense. But sometimes kids don't, and that's why we explain to them this story. Now, not only the social media division listens, but also the human resources, the HR division listens. And also, people that just like working at the company listen on Twitter because they can help better serve, they can hear the problems of the product, they can better serve the customer. They can do high-dollar sales to large group sales organizations because they can say, look, here's positive tweets we get about this product, and they save those tweets. But what I'm about to show you is exactly what the company responded with, not the formal division, but just a salesperson at the company. They said this on Twitter. Who is the hiring manager? I'm sure they would love to know that you will hate the work. We here at Cisco are versed in the web, meaning we spend time on it all the time. We know how this stuff works. We're a technology firm, right? You guys think this young woman got this job? No, yeah. In fact, before she ever got the opportunity to weigh the fat paycheck, how very fat it might be, or how short or long the daily commute might be, or how much she might like or very much dislike the work, this opportunity, it was like a Snapchat picture. It went poof, and it vanished as quickly as it was sent, unfortunately. Now, you should be saying, Josh, you're being way too hard on this young woman. She probably had a great application. She was well-rounded. She went to a great university. She'd just go to the next place that wants to accept her. This is maybe her first choice, and the other one was second choice, Josh, right? Well, unfortunately, what are all those other people going to do? Those other organizations, are they going to search for her online? Yeah, they're going to go to Google. And unfortunately, this was such a public instance, this one bad tweet that she sent. And I don't like to scare kids. It's not my job. I'm not an officer here. But this one bad tweet went so badly that if you search for her name, which every organization will do, or if you search for those 3 words that I have underlined, Cisco and fat paycheck, you'll notice that her new resume, which is Google, now is flooded with this opportunity, this way in which you can get fired with one tweet. You see, this one instance was picked up and written about in a not so nice manner by CNN, ABC, NBC, Huffington Post, Chicago Tribune. And now this young woman has an uphill battle to clean up her image. It's very difficult. It's a tough world we live in, right? That one tweet that said, I might hate the work, before you've ever seen the work, right? So, what I want to talk to you about is your kid's new resume is no longer this application. This organization that you've chosen to send them to is incredible, and it helps them shine in person, well-rounded. It gives them that best foot forward so that they can get their opportunity in the door. But the only way in which you can do that, just like me in politics, I would win people over on their doorstep, and they go, oh, he seems kind of nice. Well, let's go search for him. And that's what they're going to do. This gives you a competitive edge, but they're still going to go to Google. And everything above the fold, which means your first 5 results, is what's really important. And everything on the first page of Google is really, really important because they're going to look at the first page. If they can't find your stuff on the first page of Google, what are they going to go to? The second page, right? If they can't find the stuff on the second page, what are they going to do? They're going to get frustrated and they're going to give up. Or they're going to find somebody else that looks like your kid. So I'm going to give you a couple tactical tips on how to own that first page of Google. Is that fair? Okay, good. Normally the kids go, yeah! Kind of in kid mode right now. All right. Here's my favorite 3 words and the title of my book. Before you ever press send on something, and we as adults could use this too. I know it's frustrating being in business, and you all have a lot of stress, whether it's the mortgage or traffic or just moving kids around and getting places. And we all have digital devices in our pockets that are beeping at us. Before you ever press send on something, consider using these 3 words that have kept me out of a lot of trouble. Ask yourself, is this light? Is it positive? Is it fun? If it is, okay, check. Is this bright? Is this smart? Think before you send this. Will it get me fired from Cisco before I ever get the opportunity to go into the office? If it's not going to get me fired, then check. And last, is this polite? Is this something I'm proud of my teachers and my parents seeing? If it is, then check. And it's light, bright, and polite. Okay? Next, we all know that on our iPhone there's this 2 buttons, right? Pretty much the only 2 buttons that are on the iPhone. And 95% of your kids have iPhones. We audited them today and they raised their hand to the iPhone. So we all know that you can take a screenshot of your iPhone by hitting those 2 buttons, right? Either up at the top at the bottom or on the side at the bottom. And what does that mean, Josh? Well, that means that texts and Snapchats can be saved and forwarded. Nothing really hides. We as adults know that. We just like to remind kids how that works, right? You're doing this every day, so is that true? Yeah, you're doing this every day. And in fact, one of the celebrities that unfortunately many kids look at, we're going to try and paint her in a bad light because I think we need to do that more. She realizes this very quickly. Here's Kim Kardashian. You took a screenshot of my Snapchat. I trusted you, friend, right? Now, Kim Kardashian learns the quick way that you're probably going to send more Snapchats and content to your friends, the people that you like. Even more so, especially a lot more so than the people that you don't like, because you want to hang out with those that are fun, right? But it turns out statistically that your friends, the people that you like, can accidentally get you in way more trouble than the people you don't like. In fact, I'd like to show you a personal story on how that could work. This is my friend Blake, and Blake sent me a happy birthday Snapchat video one day. It said, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. And that video, at the end, I didn't watch the end, I just watched to, hey, happy birthday to you. I downloaded it, and I texted it to him in my iPhone. Now, I downloaded it not so that he could watch it once, like I did, but I downloaded it and sent it to him so he could watch it 1,000 times, the video, right? Which Snapchat promises us that we can't do. He called me with a look on his face that was quite scary, and he said, what'd you just do? I said, hey, I really like that video you sent me. It's my favorite happy birthday video, thank you. Do you mind if I share that on Instagram? I think it was less than 15 seconds, but I didn't watch the whole thing. He said, wait, what are you talking about? How'd you do that? I said, well, you sent me data, I downloaded it, I sent it back to you. He goes, dude, didn't you watch the end of the video? I said, no. He said, at the end of the video, I said, I will ditch work, Josh, for you tomorrow. Let's go surfing. I'll lie to my employer, and I'll ditch work and call in sick. We'll go surfing, and we'll surf it up in LA where we live. The surf is huge. I said, well, I didn't see that part. Good thing you told me about it, because we as friends, your employer probably would have seen it, right? Because things get around. And he said, yeah, don't post it. Okay, great. I won't. He said, Josh, you know the creepy part about what you did is that Snapchat promises that things disappear. That's why they made their logo a ghost. Things are supposed to go poof, right? Disappear. But the creepiest part about what you did, Josh, is not that just did you download it, but you also, Snapchat in my outbox shows me when people view a picture, if I've sent it something. It shows me when they viewed my video. And it also shows me when they take a screenshot of it, because the app communicates to the sender that they took a picture, and now that moment that might have been silly for me is now on their phone forever. But Josh, what you did somehow to bypass that is it didn't show me that you viewed it or that you took a screenshot of it, but somehow you bypassed all that system and you downloaded the video and sent it back to me, which is creepy, Josh. Now, 1 in 5 kids knows how to do this. It's another app you buy for 99 cents. And Snapchat's trying to get rid of it. It came out in the news a couple days ago saying, you can no longer do this, we figured it out. Do you think that they can actually figure out how to stop this stuff forever? A lot of people say, oh, but they're really safe. Sony thought they were safe before they got hacked, right? You can't trust your kid's image anywhere. You are the experts today. Not me, not some guy from LA. It's you. And that's why this is about as much safety as I taught your kids, because they don't want to hear it. What I want to do is get them excited about their future, so that if they say, oh, I want to spend time in an annoying manner on Snapchat, you can ask them, where can you spend your time to impress that college that you dream of? You want to play football here? You want to do this here? You want to study to do this? Where do you want to go? Let's get you excited. And then keep asking your kids. Now, a lot of kids will say, Josh, I like to take a lot of selfies. I go to a lot of events. I go to a lot of sporting events. I take pictures with my friends. And I said, that's really great, but I want to show you a little way that I had to use in my political career to make sure that I was managing my own image. You see, selfies are not bad, a couple here and there, but what if I could show you not only how to impress colleges, but also be more popular on Instagram with your image? Here's what I did. Now, you can use this or not. But I would volunteer my phone when somebody said, let's take a group photo. So I brought one of your kids up from down here, and I said, hey, when someone says, let's take a picture, grab your phone. 95% of us have an iPhone in this room. Grab your phone, put it on the iPhone app, right? Turn it on, hand it to an innocent bystander that you somewhat trust with this very expensive device, and say, would you mind taking 4 or 5 of our photos of my friends and I, so that we're not blinking? Take 4 or 5 of plenty and hand it to your friend, and then stand over with or hand it to that person, stand over with your friends, put your arms around your friends, and remind your friends, hey, no tongue sticking out, no peace signs, let's not look silly. Let's do a classy photo that then I can share and be proud of, and all of our parents can be proud of. And then at the end of the night, who's the one with the photos? Is it you or all your friends? No, it's you. Then you get to pick the one. Are you going to post the one where you look like you're a wild partier? Probably not. The one where you look like you're silly? No. Dorky? No. How about the one where not only you look great in the middle, but your friends look great, right? And then you're all of a sudden managing your image. Now, let me ask you this. What does a college want to see? Do they want to see quantity of photos, hundreds of photos from one night? Do they want to see lots of photos? Oh, that person looked like they snap photos like a professional photographer. Or do they want to see quality of one great photo from that event posted? They want to see one. They want to see quality more than anything. And I also asked your kids, and here's a little parental tip. I asked your kids, what works best on Instagram? Is it quantity of tons of photos and you flood them into your friends' feeds so they get frustrated with you and they unfollow you? Or is it quality of just one great photo so that you look great, your friends look great, and you get more likes and comments? And the kids would nod their head, yeah, it's quality, right? And that's a little tip for you. Those of you parents, Instagram is in the green zone. And the green zone is an important place when you're ready for your kid to have a digital footprint to start there, right? There's a lot of apps, but I make it easy for you. I give you the 4 biggest ones that tie to your kid's real identity. When you're ready at their age, I can't repeat that enough. There's always going to be a parent that comes up to me and goes, my kid isn't ready. That's fine. But when you're ready, those are the 4 you can feel comfortable with. You should get to know them. You should download them. You should have your kids teach them how to use them. Instagram is one of those, and it's a good place to hang out. But here's a parental tip. When you do post, if you find the right time to ask your kids to be your friend, if that's appropriate, once you have that friendship and they're following you, consider not posting ever more than once a day. You can post once a day if you want, but don't ever post more than once a day. Why? Because on Instagram, much like Facebook, many of us are on Facebook in this room, and we have friends that post probably way too much and stuff that's probably none of our business, right? Instagram's the same way. If you post too much, it doesn't have a filter. It doesn't have an algorithm where it only shows you certain people. It shows you everybody. So if you post 3 or 4 photos, people have to scroll all the way through their phone. They get annoyed with you. They unfollow. So just a little parental tip to be that cool parent. Try and post once a day or less. Once every 3 days is probably a lot better. Okay, next. That's because every post that you send, every picture you send, is like a button on an elevator. It either takes you up or it takes you down. How many of us have Googled our name in the last week or month? Anybody? No, not one of us. Really? Wow. How many of us have searched for our kids in the last month? Our kids' names? Okay, cool. We have 1, 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you the right way and the wrong way to Google yourself. We're going to call it How to Manage Your Online Image. This is the new resume. Yeah, you're going to fill out an application for colleges, but this is the new resume. Let me show you first how to search for yourself the wrong way. First, we're going to go search for my name, Josh Oakes. And when you search for yourself on Google, Google's #1 goal in the world is to take the world's information and to make it easy for others to find with one click. Now, they added one little tiny subtitle recently. They realized that if you search for pizza in Detroit, why would you get pizza in New York? That wouldn't help you. So they want to take the world's information, make it easy for you to find the best one with one click, and also make it relevant and helpful. And they added that little subtitle down there. And the relevant and helpful means if you search for a topic before, you've clicked on it, or your friends have shared it on social media, there's just a lot of listening that they do to give you the right results. So if I search for Josh Oakes, you'd think, oh, I'll see exactly the way colleges see me, right? Unfortunately, this is the wrong way. Colleges don't see me this way. I search for Josh Oakes. I see personalized results, and I see a guy in my Contacts list is named Josh Oakes. Maybe I should give him a call. That's what Google's saying, right? It looks like you're searching either for Josh Oakes, the person in your contacts list, or Josh Oakes on the web, and we have personalized results. Here's the problem. If you look in the upper right, I'm logged in. I'm logged into Gmail, and because I'm logged into Google's technologies, it's listening and trying to give me the best search possible. If I went to one pizza joint in the past and I searched for which one did I go to, it's going to give me that best one up top because it wants to make my life easier. But in this case, for searching for my own brand, I want to see it the way colleges see it, which is this way. My way, logged in, is on the left. Colleges see it kind of logged out. They don't have Josh Oakes, the topic, fresh in their browser. So when they look at it, they don't see this radio interview. They see images. What do you think you're going to click on first? Images, right? Yeah. So I'm going to show you what those images look like. We're going to use myself as an example. But first, there's two ways to see this right-hand side. Now, I'm giving you this because this is a very important way going forward. You can manage your kid's image. This is what I'm about to show you is very, very powerful, and I truly hope that you go use this. I feel as though nationwide, and I travel to a lot of schools, nationwide, the one thing that we don't see enough of is parents doing this very same thing with their kids sitting down together. This is the number one way for you to impress colleges. You can teach your kids how to be good, but also by sitting down with them and doing this logged in and logged out. The majority of this room will not do that, but I truly would love it if I got a call from your educator saying, you know, we had about 10 students or 10 parents say that they did this. So what I'm about to show you is cool. On the right-hand side, if you want to get there and see the web in a more organic fashion, there's two ways to get there. One, you could go to Gmail and go to YouTube and go to Google and log out of everything. Go to Chrome and go to Facebook. You could log out. And then you could go to Google and you could Google yourself and you'd be logged out. And you'd see the web a little bit different. But that's annoying because you'd have to log back in, and who can remember the passwords, right? It's hard. So I'm going to show you another technique that makes it really, really fast. Very, very easy. If you have Chrome, there's a little tiny thing on the upper right, that little tiny area. Or if you have Firefox, you click on Firefox in the upper left. Sometimes Firefox is in the upper right. It depends on what you have. Any browser that you have, you click on the settings button, and down pops one of two words: new incognito window in Chrome, or new private window in Firefox, Internet Explorer, or Safari. So remember, private window and incognito window. Josh, why are you showing us this? What the heck is this? Well, if you click on those buttons, it opens up this new window, and it's this creepy little spy guy up there. And the creepy little spy guy says, Josh, for this one window, I have hidden your cookies so you can run around the web and basically no one knows who you are. But I saved all of your old tabs back there so that you're still logged in and you can close this window at any time. But Josh, go to Google. So I go to Google. Okay, look at this. I'm not logged in. It says, please sign in. But for this experience, we're not going to do that because now when we go to Google, we see, there we go, there's the images. Now we see the web the way colleges and future employers would. Did that make sense to everybody?
This is only if you have a Gmail account.
No, it works. That's a good question. It's not only if you have a Gmail account. It's really with anything, depending on where you're at and what location. It's a good question. Is it only when you have a Gmail account? It's really if you have anything. Any type of, the web listens to what you're doing, and if you're logged in, it's if you have cookies enabled. It's a good question. Cookies track your thing. I mean, there's no one right answer for the web, and this isn't probably the perfect answer, but this is the best. It's not just if you have Google. Google's listening to everything you're doing, but if you use this technique, it really just hides and it says, we're going to mystery shop the internet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this works across the board. Yes, in the back.
What if you use Bing search engine?
You can do the same thing, exactly. Bing wants to make the world easy to use as well. Do you use Bing?
I use both. But
You use both, that's good.
And is there a reason to do both if you're looking at the profile?
They're pretty similar. Okay, so that's a really good question. And the question was, is there a reason to do both? There's a reason to search for yourself where colleges and future employers are going to search for you. 73% of the web, and I could be wrong, but I used to work for a web startup that was in the search space. I was an advisor of theirs. And at that time, it was 65% of internet searches are done on Google, and we think that's up quite a bit to maybe 75%. So it comes back to the wholesome, how is a college going to search for my kid? Bing's not bad. It's going to have similar results. But the point is, you never know who's listening to what your systems are. So these are all very good questions. Okay, so Josh, if they're gonna click on those images, let's go click on your images, let's look at you, okay? So here we go. Let's look at Josh. Let's see, the goal is to be positive and relevant. Okay, we've got Josh getting a big company to donate some money, Josh on Day of Politics, Josh hosts networking events, Josh with his dog, teaching. Why is there a baby dressed as Harry Potter in Josh's Google results? That's weird. Well, the goal of this is to show you that random things pop up. Yeah, there's some other people in here, but I'm pretty good at owning my own Google results. All these people are in some way tied to me, or projects. Now, the baby dressed as Harry Potter is my own fault. I'm using myself as a bad example here. You see, a few years ago, I was getting into Pinterest, and it's my goal to dive into a network to better understand it. We have to train brands sometimes on how to use these. So I dove into Pinterest for a couple weeks right before Halloween, and I made a board, which is a folder there, and it made total sense to name this board Adorable Things Worth Sharing. And in the Adorable Things Worth Sharing, it made total sense to throw puppies and babies in there, right? And on my Pinterest board, which I thought at the time was really well filled out and very professional, you had some babies and puppy area down there, right? It made total sense for babies and puppies to fit in the Adorable board, right? Fine. But when I apply to Harvard or any school that I want to go to, and they Google me and they match my application for Harvard with this digital resume, does it make sense? Is it positive and relevant, or on topic, if you will, for them to look through this and go, why is that there? No, it doesn't make sense here, right? And in fact, it could confuse them. So my one point is, and mine was pretty harmless, there's two tips. One point is anything that you do on the web changes your Google results. The goal here is that anything that you do, I don't care if you use Gmail, Yahoo, anything else, their goal is to listen to your behaviors and listen to what the web is doing and how it's changing. The more something changes, the more Google listens to it. So the more you're on a network, it's a whole industry called search engine optimization. But my point is, I had that in there, and I had never downloaded that image. I simply clicked a like button or a pin button, and it changed my Google results. Now, Josh, how did you get rid of that? Big parent question. Very simply, in the Google image results, you click on that piece of data. Just click on it. It'll go full screen, and it'll say, here's that image, and in the upper right, it'll say, do you want to visit the website that this image is on? Go visit that website, unpin it. If somebody else has posted it, ask them kindly, typically it's a friend, hey, my parents want me to apply to college next year. I would like to improve my image results. Would you mind taking this image down? Untagging yourself is not always the only option, so ask for them to take it down kindly. Use the noble technique. Okay, and this is the question I have for you. Sometimes your kids can get themselves into more trouble than anybody else, and I asked them today, do you feel comfortable printing out your Instagram and saying, hey, you guys have seen my application. You've seen how great my grades are. But I want to show you that I have and it could be that your kid has a private Instagram and private Twitter. I want to show you how I spend my personal time. I want to stand out from the pack. So I've printed out my Instagram, and I want to show you who I am on the weekend. I babysit, I travel, I volunteer. Do you feel comfortable printing that out old school-wise, taking it on paper and leaving it behind for them? If you do, if every one of your images is pretty light, bright, and polite, then you're moving in the right direction. If you don't, then we've got a few years to work on you, right? Okay, next. Now I'm going to leave you with a bunch of images. We have about 10 minutes left? Great, thank you. So I want to show you good examples, and we've shown you some safety, we've shown you how to Google yourself, but you should be asking, Josh, how can I overcome all these other people that come up when I Google my high schooler, my middle schooler, right? All these other random people come up. How can I overcome that? Well, I'm going to show you what I call flooding the internet with good stuff. By going out and doing good things, Google listens and it changes the results on the first page when you Google your name. It does take a year, maybe 2 years. It's not slow. Google is smart. You cannot not outsmart Google. Google has more money to hire the world's best engineers than anyone else in the world. Literally, you cannot. And if anybody says they outsmart Google, my developers are trained to go, no, no one can. You can't outsmart somebody like that. So what I'm about to show you is an old school way that pleases Google, that pleases colleges, and pleases some of our clients at the world's biggest companies. HR departments like this, and admissions departments like this. So if you've ever wanted your kid to work at the world's biggest agency, the digital agency, consider being like Camille and posting on Instagram this message. Thanks to my friends for inviting me to join them in these great seats. Go Dodgers. Camille was an intern at our firm. She got an internship at a very prized internship. 1 in 100 resumes gets selected, and we kind of molded her into a digital marketer. She had such a clean online image. She really didn't have a digital marketing background, but she had such a clean online image that she got the gig, and now she is working at the world's largest agency, a dream job. We got a call from her. I'm very close to her now. I'm a good friend. She said because she had a clean online image, this opportunity at our firm arose. She went in for the interview and she got to show all these brands she got to work on because she maintained that clean online image. Now she's at an incredible job. Her mom cries. It's so amazing, the company she works for. I normally don't tell that story, but this really does work. This, me as an employer, sending kids off into really big firms. Next, if you've ever wanted your kid to be an on-camera personality, consider Rich DeMuro here to the far right. He volunteers, and instead of taking a selfie, he's a KTLA Channel 5 News celebrity in Los Angeles. And as he volunteers, he takes a picture with him and his friends, puts some dogs in it, and says, "Thank you to these people, the Shelter Hope Pet Shop, for letting us share some of our tech tips with you." Now notice this. This says, "Thank you to these people," and "Thank you to these people." Small little tip that some of the world's biggest brands and also colleges like to see. Less selfie, more thank yous. Next, if you've ever wanted your kid to work at Disneyland and run their digital marketing, consider being like Lisa right here on the far right, who's also mentioned in my book. Special thanks to my team at Disneyland for all that they do to make dreams come true at the most magical place on earth. This isn't a selfie of her, no peace sign, no tongue sticking out, no more. It's a volunteer day where she said, "Can we take a group photo? Can I share this on my Instagram?" She took a group photo for that. If you've ever wanted your kid to be in the Miss America pageant, consider having them be a lot like Miss Utah over here as she posts this on Twitter. "Thank you to my friends that supported me over the last year in the Miss America pageant. With their help, I can represent Utah and teach kids nationwide about setting their goals." Once again, classy photo. Let's take a group photo. Let's put our arms together, looking great. Now, if you want to take a selfie at a family event because you're really bored, consider squeezing your family into the photo instead, like Camille did once again. Her mom and her niece and her little nephews. It's days like this that make me thankful for my family and the great weather while we hunt for Easter eggs in the backyard. Josh, why would I do this? Why are you telling us this? This is the kind of stuff that colleges look for. You're 4.0, they're 4.0. Taking the experiences that you have in your life, taking a quality photo to show them off in a great way, right? Next, and last, I put myself in there. Instead of taking a selfie at the Grand Canyon, this works for everybody. And my parents' dog is in there too. Whenever you can put a dog in the photo, it's usually very well received. A little tactical tip for you. Thank you to my parents for joining me last week on a road trip to the Grand Canyon. Notice how I delayed the photo by a week so it doesn't say, "Please come rob me." Right? Just a little tactical tip. I didn't teach your kids that tactic, but you guys can watch out for your kids there. Okay, here's a senior. We caught her doing something awesome. Her name is Elise. Elise says, "I'm so proud of my BBHS Tigers. Shout out to Chance for being my favorite player and best friend." Now, Chance is applying to college for scholarships and football and stuff. Chance is probably pretty proud of that pick because there's no peace sign, there's no tongue sticking out. It's complimentary. Good work, Elise. Now, Elise one day had a power outage in her city. And power outages are annoying because there's no Wi-Fi. Most kids want to complain. Instead of complaining, Elise writes this tweet. She says, "I'm so thankful to have such a great family. I had a great day, even with our power outage, hashtag 'tis the season." Here's what a college will say about this post. They will say, "Wow, our power goes out every month in the dorm room. In fact, we have all kinds of problems that we put our freshmen through on accident. We're trying to fix this. We have construction going on. We have fire drills." If this is how this young woman complains in such a positive way on a daily basis around her family on Twitter, we need to get her in here for a first-round interview immediately. We need a young woman that's positive like this on our campus. That's the way they'll see that. Next, one day she was accepted to KU, and she knew that even though she was accepted, it doesn't mean she's moved in yet, and she's even in, as we learned from the Cisco example. So what she did is when she went for her final round tours, before she moved in to her freshman dorm, she said this. She said, "I had so much fun on my college visit to KU today. I'm so ready for next year." Now, do you think KU saw this tweet? Yeah, their social media team, absolutely, they're searching for that. But they were proud of it because she takes a classy photo next to the mascot, and she's ready for next year. And she knows that even though you're in, you're not always in, right? This is the last photo I'm going to share with you, and then we're going to wrap this up. This young man knew so very much that colleges were going to search for him that he put his best foot forward by making his username his real name. And he wanted to get discovered online, and he was ready for it. So he wrote a handwritten note, and he took a picture of that, so that when a college found his Twitter, they knew, hey, this is the Jonathan we're looking for. He writes, "Dear colleges, please accept me. I'm a good person. Sincerely, Jonathan." And below the image, he just said, "Finished my college apps," because he knew colleges would look at that. And this would make them smile, and this would make them say, "We found the Jonathan we're looking for. He's not hiding from us." Now, this is such a different way of thinking for kids that colleges picked this up and used this as a good example. The press used it as a good example, and this kid got thousands of tweets because it got written about positively. This little kid is saying, "I'm not going to hide from you. I'm going to show you who I am." Right? Okay, here's my formula. For positive images, you must volunteer somewhere. You have to live a life that's like, right, and polite. You cannot hide your kids' bad behavior on social media. That does not happen. I'm not here with one pill on how to lose a lot of weight. This is not a quick fix. You need to live a good life, and you can go to animal shelter, hospital, the senior home, Red Cross, Habitat. This organization here, your school, has lots of ways to get back. In fact, they're encouraging kids. There's dozens of ways every week. Or if you're busy, you can just walk a neighbor's dog, right? Now, here's the message that I put below things, and you might consider using this. Take a classy group photo that's tasteful. Thank you to this organization for giving me the opportunity to do this activity, and here's the outcome. Okay? Thank you to this organization for this opportunity. There's the website. If you want to get a bunch of those apps in your inbox and a bunch of this data, you go /go. It asks for a couple of things. Anybody, have you gone to that yet today? Okay, great, everybody. Awesome. Lying to myself now. Okay, so what I'd like to do is field some questions. There's another video accompanying this. It's very, very important. It's in your inbox. It takes a little while to watch, but I promise you it's very, very valuable. It is the green zone, the gray zone, and the red zone. Sometimes it's parents' most favorite part of the evening because it makes them feel more comfortable. How did we do? Did we do okay? Okay, great. Any questions? Yes?
Me?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you gave examples of colleges and you have tweets. And Twitter is connected with your identity. So the other ones you were referring to in the red zone, like Snapchat and everything else. Is that bad because it's anonymous? I mean, do colleges use those to look for kids? And can they connect it to the kid?
Two answers to your question. Josh, is Snapchat bad because it can tie to your identity, or why are you selecting it as being bad? We have a most valuable, my first book, I said that companies and everybody has only a few resources. 1 is time, 2 is money, and 3 is a distraction. Those are all resources. Kids have the same thing. The resource is time. You're going to put yourself into a good program or something that helps you get into Harvard, and then there's something that will just spin your wheels that won't help you get somewhere. And I use Harvard as an example, so it could be insert the college of your dreams, it doesn't matter. But Snapchat is fun, it's great, but there's 2 downfalls. 1, when you're spending time on Snapchat, never before have I ever heard a kid say, "Oh, Josh, I sent these really fun, really cool Snapchat videos, and Harvard discovered me, now I have a full ride at Harvard, I'm having a great time." Right? It just doesn't end up being very great. In fact, it goes another direction. So they're spending their time there, and they could spend their time somewhere else. And I'm not against Snapchat. I think it's very fun, and I think it's cool. But it could go very, very bad in this way. Not only are you spending time there instead of the opportunity cost is somewhere else, but what you're sending to people, you might let your filter down, your guard down, and accidentally send something that gets screen grabbed and makes people nervous. So if you spend a ton of your time there, those are the 2 reasons why you shouldn't. And my app guide has been very carefully crafted and looked at by hundreds of thousands of people. I'm going to go back to the beginning. I'm sorry to do this so quickly here, guys. But go back to the beginning, show you the green zone one more time. So that's why Snapchat, it's not that what I want you to know is that colleges will see you on these networks. You're going to want colleges to see you on these networks, okay? I could go on for hours. Why? It's very, very technical, but colleges, you want them to find you eventually, if you're comfortable. Once again, you can throw these ideas out of the window. You're not going to hurt my feelings, right? but this has been looked at by some of the world's biggest brands, by some of the best colleges. Deans have blessed my book, deans of colleges that you've heard of, and these are the ones that come up first. Now there's a couple more networks that we're adding here soon, but these are the ones. Twitter, LinkedIn 14 plus, very, very low cyberbullying, only allows for one photo of your child, allows you to start putting your projects, your community service on there. When you're ready, the new future is tying things back to your identity, not where you live, not your social security number, not your shoe size, but that you're a real person and that you start to own that first page, right? You can be careful without being attacked by predators or identity theft, okay? You have to weigh that common line. The next one's Instagram, because Instagram is owned by Facebook and they are trying to dominate Google and they come up first. Is your kid going to want to be on Facebook? Probably not. Why? Because you're on Facebook and they want to get away from Facebook, right? But it's still another good one to have. You want to know a little tactical tip? Get your kid on Facebook, put 5 or 10 of their best photos on there, have some kind of a presence so they know that they found them, own that first page of Google because Facebook will come up first. And even if your kid doesn't spend much time on there, you have something that goes above the fold. Does that make sense? Okay? I'm giving you tips that work. You don't have to use them,
So you're
but
saying we flood the
web with good stuff.
web.
You will eventually, one of the biggest concerns in this
They
room,
won't scroll down so far to see, what you did at 13 and 14.
that's partially true. Let me rephrase that. What I'm saying is the majority of your students today said, other people come up in my results. And I'm saying you want to get rid of those other people. Flood the web with good stuff under your name on these networks. These networks have a two-pronged approach. It helps you flood the web with your real identity to own Google, and it helps you flood the web to be found on a good network. Organizations of any size are going to say, yeah, you belong on these. These are good. We want to find your Twitter. If you're not on Facebook, we're wondering. Do not, please, and you as adults, here's a side note, do not think if you interview for a new firm or if your kid is going to college eventually and that they can hide their Facebook by changing their name. That's an age-old trick. Kids tell me that, oh, don't worry, I hid my Facebook. It's so easy to find, okay? That doesn't work. These tricks where people think they can outsmart the college or the employer, colleges' employers just don't call them back. And they think, oh, I outsmarted them though. No, you didn't, they found you. They're not gonna tell you because it's an HR issue, it's a legal issue if they tell you that they found your stuff, right?
Can they find you in the red zone? That's really was my question.
Oh, can they find you in the...
But these you all are clearly identified.
Okay, the reason, why is it in the red zone? So what is, the green zone means don't fight your kids here. Let them go here and monitor them, have a dialogue with them. The gray zone means you need to have a dialogue because the dialogue, these could go very bad. Yeah, you need to watch every one of these 5-minute videos. You need to learn why this one's bad, okay? I could go into it, but we have to stop now. And then the red zone is a place where predators are prevalent, where cyberbullying is prevalent. Nothing good happens in the red zone professionally, I'll tell you right now, and you can, I'll give you a money back guarantee. You should not allow people to be in the red zone. Even Yik Yak just causes heartbreak, bomb threats. Schools are closed in Los Angeles to New York because of these apps. I got a new one out called Burn Book that is a big problem nationwide right now. The video that we made is 2,500 views in less than 72 hours. Law enforcement nationwide have put me on the front of their website because of our helpful video, okay? So this is very serious what I'm showing you right now. It's not, oh, Josh kind of think, no. Bottom line, let me just tell you, if you don't have time to research this, these are the places you don't want to hang out. Ask FM, Predator Central, Whisper, Predator Central. And I'm not a negative person, but we've done a lot of this stuff for you. Nationwide, I get a lot of calls from law enforcement saying, thank you, we've been able to send this to parents so they can be proactive, okay? Not just educators. All right, so there's your answer. It doesn't help you, it only hurts you in the red zone. That's
I guess colleges, can they still find you? So if I have a college...
some of these, yes. Ask FM does have a website. Whisper has a website, so it still changes your Google results.
Okay, good.
Some of them, yes. And the best way for you to find out is to Google your kid every month, at least. Google their name, both logged in, logged out, left and right, and with quotes, without. We're actually developing a new piece of technology that puts 2 or 3 buttons in your inbox every day, so that every month, so that you click searching for your kid with quotes, without quotes, with the city name, and a couple other things. And it makes it easy for you to search for your kids each month. Okay, great. Yes, one more question.
So how do you control if it's not something you put up there? Like if somebody else puts
There is no controlling the internet. There instead is flooding it with good stuff. If it's not something you put up, you kindly go to the people and ask them to take it down. You kindly always use your phone. You know, everything I've given you, it may not seem like it was carefully crafted, but very strategic. When you control your image by taking phone pictures at events, going forward and you teach your kids at a very young age, you've taught them how to control their image. These problems happen less. I'm not interested in helping people get out of issues. I'm interested in helping kids be wholesome throughout their life. That's the real issue here. If there's something that comes up, you can ask people to remove it, and then you can flood the web with positive stuff. Does that answer your question? It's a two-pronged approach. Yeah. Okay, we're going to have to finish up. Thanks everybody for coming out.
And like I said, we will we'll have the video, and we will have the contact information and things like that for us. We'll post that and put that on the portal where you'll be able to find it. If not, you can email me, or you can even contact Josh or his company.
Yeah, and the best way is to go to SafeSmartSocial.go website. There's no sales pitch here. This is absolutely valuable data. Your organization, I didn't fly here for free. I'm not. I'm probably the Ferrari of the solutions that they could have hired. I say yes to very few schools. This is very valuable data, and that one button and this Burn Book app, these are very, so if you do visit that website, you won't get a sales pitch, but you will get 2 apps every week, a good app and a bad app, and it says, please dedicate 10 minutes of your time to protect your kids. I am your insurance policy. I want to keep your kids safe and shining online, in that order.
Did you show them the bad apps?
No, I did not.
Okay, I just wanted to know.
No, we don't show kids the bad apps. No.
No.
Yeah, it's a very good question.
I didn't know if you were working.
Yeah, it's a very good question. Going forward, right, this picture forward, only my political stuff, I showed them. Yeah, normally if we had another 30 minutes, I would walk you through the bad apps, but...
The Wall Street Journal, by the way, does put out once a month or so, or once a quarter, all the bad and good apps. I get it sent to me through the Wall Street Journal.
Awesome.
And I do want to thank the MSPA for funding our Ferrari here and bringing it here. So, I think that throughout the week that we've had a lot of good messages for the kids, and they were really tuned in. As Josh was telling, they were really tuned in today and yesterday as well. And we've got to continue to get this message through to them. So please continue to have these conversations at home. We're going to continue, and hopefully, all of us together, we're going to have really great positive social images as well. So thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.